We do. We have a very small incentive program that folks can make suggestions, and then they get a percentage of the savings. And so we've done that over the last 4 or 5 years as well.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Betty, how about on the school side?
Well, we're always looking for where we can find savings, and like Peter gave examples of being involved in consortiums to purchase sand, et cetera. We're in consortiums for fuel, for example, oil, electricity, et cetera. We also, every time we retrofit a building, renew a building with respect to lights, et cetera, everything that we put into the building is with the idea of energy savings. We have been commended on more than one occasion from CLNP for our efforts with respect to saving electricity in our buildings. Our computer system, a year ago, we purchased a software that will automatically turn off all computers at a particular time of the day, because frequently people forget to turn their computers off, so they go off at a certain hour across the entire system. We have thousands of computers. But we also are looked at, for example, in our health insurance. I mean, our health insurance increase this year is 2.5%, which is remarkable in light of what some other towns are facing, 15, 16, 20% increase. And some of that is due to our claim history, but a lot of it is also due to the efforts on the part of our business manager to keep our rates low, and through our formularies, et cetera, that prescription drugs. So we are constantly looking for ways to scale back.
Right, just like a household budget, and you're looking at your services for your TV, et cetera, shopping the best, and all those little cost savings all add up to do what you guys have done. Mm-hmm. Perhaps you both could answer this. Compared to other towns in our region, do you still believe that Windsor is still a good value for our tax dollars?
I would love to jump in on that one.
Yes, I really do, Jane. We are one of the safest communities in the region, and I think that's very important for our residents to appreciate that we are one of the safest communities and one of the lowest crime rates in all of the metropolitan area. Our residents continue to give us high marks for the quality of services and the overall quality of life in town. So to me, that's an affirmation that folks are feeling that they're getting a good bang for your buck, for their buck, if you will. I think we have an appropriate mix of user fees. As we've spoken years past on the show, we do use program fees. So if you want to have a swim lesson, you pay for that swim lesson versus having the entire tax burden shared by all of the taxpayers. So we have an appropriate mix. Other communities don't use user fees to the extent we do. So I think over the years we've used those appropriately. But most importantly, 40 cents of every tax dollar that we collect here in Windsor is generated by the business community. And that is well over the average for the region, which is more in the range of 25 to 30 cents every dollar. And that's something that I always like to highlight, because our very diverse business community here in town helps to keep the tax burden for our residential homeowners at a little bit lower than other communities around the region.
Okay, good. Betty, any comment?
Absolutely. I think I'd like to respond on a couple of levels. One, sort of like from a helicopter point of view, with respect to the incredible relationship that the school system has with the town and the police department. We really are part of the community, and the community takes pride in the schools and supports the schools in ways that are enviable from some of my colleagues. If we then, zero in on what the actual education that's going on in the school system, we are improving continually. I can give you some specific indicators. For example, our percentage of students going on to 2- and 4-year colleges, that's a goal of ours to increase that for 3 straight years. That has increased, and we're getting more kids to go on to 4-year colleges, which is really important. We have, for example, at the high school, an indicator that many high schools are measured across the country is how do we do on advanced placement. exams, the number of students in exams, as well in taking courses, and then the number of students that are passing at a 3 or better. In the last 3 years, we've increased by 20% the number of students who have scored a 3 or better on the advanced placement tests. We anticipate that next year the number of students who will be enrolled in advanced placement courses will double. And we received this grant. I think most people know that this Project Opening Doors grant, which over 5 years we were expected to double our numbers. We're doubling our numbers in 1 year. And also increasing significantly the percentage of the students of color that are enrolled in those courses, which is fabulous because those are, will help with students getting accepted into college and being accepted into better colleges. We also, we just had 3 National Merit finalists named, at the high school. These are students that went through the Windsor Public Schools from kindergarten on up, proud products of the Windsor Public Schools, 3 commended students as well. We have a student from the high school who's going on to West Point. We have a number of high school students that have been accepted into Ivy League schools. So, those are indicators at the high school, but those are the exit indicators that we all look to with respect to our school system. And I think that we're only going to see more of that. Our CMT scores, are generally the trend shows an increase. Our CAP scores, not so much, but we absolutely believe that it's going to turn around this year and really start to show reflect what our students are capable of. So I do believe absolutely that it is a good school system for families and children.
Mm-hmm. Just as a side comment, I have a brother that lives in a neighboring town, and he talks about snow removal is when the sun melts it, and so that would be their indicator. Sorry, Anita. Real estate taxes are issues just about everywhere, but are in particular concern to seniors, and Windsor does have a high senior population. Are there programs in place that can help some of these seniors lower their taxes? Peter?
There is. There's a program that we call our tax relief, elderly tax relief program, and we use some local dollars as well as some state grants that we receive, and it's income-based, and so any senior household that owns property in town can contact the assessor's office here at Town Hall, and it's very timely. The application for this coming year is due actually on May 14th. So just about a week away or so. So any folks who think that they may be eligible will be able to contact the assessor's office.
Or if you know
here.
someone and can get the word out.
Please share it with any of your neighbors or relatives in town.
Okay. We've heard that the state's budget deficit next year could be as much as $700 million. What effect will that have? You touched a little bit on it on our town budget and also on our school. How is that going to affect us?
If I will, I'll start off. For the coming year, the state does not have a budget yet in place, as we know. Sounds like they're working hard, but they don't have it in place. And so there's a potential that there could be some additional reductions in the aid that we get from the state for this coming fiscal year. The most important message that I have is that we need to look actually not at fiscal year 11, but fiscal year 12, a year from now. The state of Connecticut is facing a $3 billion projected deficit 1 year from now. And with 15% of the state's budget dedicated to town and city aid, in my mind it's inevitable that there's going to have to be some reduction in aid to the towns. And so we need to prepare ourselves actually for probably a year from now for that possible